Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to have you here. It's a packed house. For those of you in the back, if you'd like to come up, there are seats up here. Feel free to make your way and grab the empty chairs. Okay. How many of you have been to a Your Teen college event one of these nights? Raise your hands. Just a few. Okay, great. I'm going to start with a really quick, I'm going to fly through this, 15-minute sort of overall greatest hits of college admissions kind of talk with a section at the end on what's new. One way or the other, I've been part of college admissions for more than 25 years on both sides of the desk. And a lot of my colleagues, longtime colleagues, and I will say that we think in the next year there's more significant change in terms of the admissions landscape than in the past 25 years put together, and talk a little bit about why. Okay, so quick question for you. How many colleges or universities are in the United States? Anybody want to take a guess? 5,000. That's a great guess. About 4,000, okay? It's in the thousands. You know, if you look at some places, if you look at Australia, they have 100 and something colleges, like 200, national universities. So there is tremendous diversity of colleges. 2-year, 4-year, private, public, rural, urban, and every sort of flavor in between. So one of the things we like to say is, especially to 8th, 9th, and 10th graders, remember, do not fall in love with a college if you're younger than 16 or 17. And if you're 16 or 17, be ready to fall in love with many colleges, okay? One of the things we always say is, in the college office at Hathaway Brown, there are many ways to be happy in college. And the kids we worry about are the ones who are like, if I don't go there, I'm not going to have a good college experience. It's kind of a very sort of, it's not a great way to proceed through the process. So being open-minded, one of the things we love most is when a kid discovers a college that perhaps he or she had never heard about at the start of the process, and over the course of really engaging in the college process, fall in love with that place and attend it, where 2 years before they hadn't heard of it. So being open-minded could lead you to exactly the right place. So why are you here? Why are we talking about college now? Whatever grade you're in, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th, you are laying the foundation for future success. That's one of the things colleges are looking at. How are you doing in your classes, and what classes are you taking? Because classes build on one another, and colleges are trying to see, are you going to be ready to take care of the schoolwork that they're going to present to you? And here you are ready to hear and learn and be open to all kinds of useful, helpful tips about college. But one of the things we say is, it's really important to not be all about strategizing. Think about enjoying your in-school and out-of-school activities. One of the stories we like to tell is that a few years ago, the New York Times did an article on debate being the most, respected college activity for college admissions offices. Kind of an anecdotal, they talked to a few admissions officers. The number of debate clubs in high schools exploded and around the country. And all of a sudden you had kids who are like, I don't like debate, I'd rather be doing X, Y, or Z, but I think it's gonna help me get into college. And having been an admissions officer and having read thousands, I don't want to count up how many applications, and my friends on the other side of the desk, who are still on the other side of the desk, will say the same thing. They don't care what you love, just love it, okay? So be authentic. And remember, authenticity counts. I often say, if I could buy one of those neon sculptures, that's a word for the college office, for anybody who's looking at college, authenticity is the word I would have made. All right, and think about the things you can control about the college process early in the process. It's good to just think ahead. So what do colleges look for in an applicant? These are things you can control. I'm going to talk about things you can't control, but these you can. Typically, the first thing they look at is transcript. If you're sitting here as an 11th grader saying, well, I'm sunk because my transcript is the weakest part of what I have to present, the good news is you can always make a change and grow. And growth is a very important part of the college admissions process. If you're younger and you're thinking, does this really matter what I'm doing in 9th grade and in 10th grade? It does. And moving forward, you need to keep in mind, I want to try to do the best I can while being healthy and happy and balanced. Very important as well. Test scores, I'm sorry, I can't see. I apologize, 1 second. I forget that I need glasses. Sorry about that. Test scores are coachable. The ACT and the new SAT. Have you guys heard about the new SAT that is debuting in March? We have a sense that is going to be a more coachable test than the SAT has been in the past, and they have partnered with Khan Academy for free test prep, and that's actually a good move. Activities and interests. You do not have to use the I need 20 activities idea. It's about quality. Choose a few, 1, 2, 3, 4 things that matter to you and pursue them. And especially if you're young in 9th grade and you're still figuring all that out, be figuring it out. Don't be like, I started this in 9th grade, I don't like it. Remember the debate story? But I'm gonna stick with it for 4 years. Especially in 9th grade and 10th grade, you're here to figure out what you like and then try to grow in it, okay? So quality versus quantity. Teacher letters of recommendation for juniors. Any juniors in the room? I'm just curious. Just a few, okay. A hearty crew, all right, guys. But most of you 9th graders, can I see any 9th graders or parents of 9th graders? I should put it that way. And 10th grade, okay, great, thank you. All right, essays and writing. In some ways, the more competitive of the college, the more the writing counts because they're trying to sort of make very fine distinctions between really great candidates. So sometimes, especially at the most competitive places, they're looking at kids with scores that are perfect or almost perfect, grades that are perfect or almost perfect, and great activities. So how do they differentiate when they have to pick such a tiny percentage? And often it's the voice of the essay. I often will tell our students, you cannot change what you got in 9th grade math, okay? A sore subject with me from my past, but you can't change it. But you can have an impact on your essays. And even if you think you're not a good writer, you give it time and thinking and process, really process the writing, and you can get to a place where you feel good. Next, jobs and volunteer work. Parents, do you remember working in high school? Okay, kids don't work anymore because they're so busy. If you are the sort of kid who's like, I would love to work instead of do 10 clubs, working is absolutely deeply respected by colleges, okay? So do know that. Sometimes families will say to me, she does this, she does this, she does this, but she doesn't volunteer. Does that mean she's not going to get into college? No. Again, the rule of pursue the things that really mean something to you and matter to you because it comes across. But if you like the idea of volunteer work, by all means pursue it. It is absolutely well respected. And now we're going to talk just for a bit about the things you can't control, or I want to point out that there are some things, and they're called institutional priorities, what colleges decide is important to them in a given year. And these are things you can't control. So officers try to shape a class. We need people who are musicians and who are athletes and who are whatever to make a well-rounded, interesting class. So they're looking for a variety of skills and backgrounds and interests. So here are some institutional priorities. You might read this list and think, that's awesome because I'm a legacy. My parents went to the school I'm already kind of interested in. I'm, also an artist and a serious athlete. So these are all things that maybe might play out for me to a given school. But if you're not, the school you're interested in just spent $30 million building a performing arts center, and you're not a performing artist, and they happen to have a focus on filling the class with more performing artists than in the past, you can't become one overnight, And so these are some of the things that perhaps you can't do anything about, and that's all right, because there's so much you can do about. Demonstrated interest. Does anybody know what that means, or have you heard the term demonstrated interest? It is a growing phenomenon. Not all colleges sort of follow this, but demonstrated interest is exactly what it sounds like. Are you a student who has When the college visits your high school, you've gone to their session. When they held an information session for families and kids at a hotel in Beechwood or in Independence, did you go to that? Did you visit the college? One of the things I'll tell you about in a few minutes, I can tell you now, is some of these guys track emails they send you, and they track if you open them. So that's a way of demonstrating interest. Now, some places don't care. You can demonstrate all the interest in the world and it won't make a difference. And other places are very clear about the importance of demonstrated interest. So local receptions and college fairs, spring visit days are often for juniors. Taking tours and information sessions, these are often a script, literally. Tour guides are often given a script and they're told at these little breaks, give your own little example or your own little story. So you have to work to go beyond the canned presentation. So as I said, very often reps who will read your application visit your high school. And that's a way to put your face in front of them, ask questions. I can't tell you how many times we've talked to reps and be like, oh yeah, I remember her from the session. She was sitting there and she was asking about X and Y. We're like, that's her. And now you're reading her application, okay? Emails from colleges, as I said, if anybody, the minute you take the PSAT as a 10th grader, you become the most popular person on the planet, okay? You get more mail and more emails than you ever imagined. And they will flood your email box, but they can see if you open the links, and very often they have an action item, and they want you to click on here and do the next thing. Now, you're gonna get emails from colleges that are like, I don't think I wanna go to Arkansas, or whatever, and then you can delete those. But the ones that, be open-minded, as I said, and if you're curious and wanna know more, know that this happens, okay? So keep in mind, immerse yourself in your high school experience, okay? This is the question you have to ask yourself. How am I going to show colleges what kind of community member I'm going to be? They can see by your transcript perhaps what kind of student you'll be. But what kind of community member will you be? Letters from your guidance counselor, from your teachers will help with that. Your essays about what you value, how you spend your time when you have free time. These are all parts of ways of answering this question. And again, the passion piece, like Stephanie said earlier, you may be 15 and thinking, I like a lot of things. I don't know if I'm passionate about anything yet. That's okay, but keep exploring, okay? It's good for you. Read. If I could wave a magic wand, I would have every kid from 7th or 8th grade on read recreationally every night for 20 to 30 minutes. It's a game changer for your brain. And it will help expose you to all different kinds of reading and really help you be a better test taker. And guess what? A better student. And you know what? You'll probably be happier and really enjoy what you come across. People will find their way to the reading that resonates with them. And for parents, do your financial aid and merit aid research sooner rather than later. This is not something you want to be senior fall, be like, we should start thinking about, aid and applying for aid. Great session upstairs. Okay. So what can we do now? We think College Board, yes, the SATpeople.org is a great search engine. It's called Big Future, and you can find out any bit of data about applications, etc., on that website. Unigo, fantastic. It's a little disturbing sometimes, some of the comments. It's very, very honest student comments about the school. Parents, you may want to sit down when you read some of these. Okay. Great books, FIS Guide and Insider's Guide to the Colleges. Summer Exploration. They want to know, what do you do when you're free? What do you do when no one's looking? How do you spend your time? You've got 10, 12 weeks off. And you don't have to be like, okay, 10 weeks have now been filled up. Be authentic about what you might want to pursue. And maybe spend a week going a little deeper into creative writing if that's what you like, or whatever. And exploring financial options, great idea. I want to give you this website, Fair Test. That is the website that tracks all the test optional, meaning you don't have to submit SATs or ACTs, or tests flexible that let you do a variety of things. Great colleges on that list, okay? Next. What's new in college admissions? A great deal. The new SAT premieres. For those who are juniors who are taking it in March, they're expecting a 2.5 month turnaround time instead of a 2.5 week turnaround time. Look at Khan Academy. The FAFSA is changing. Anybody know about the FAFSA, the big financial aid form? Next year, it is changing for the first time significantly. Parents have had to wait till January 1st. Now, they're going to be able to apply in October using not the previous year's data, the previous year to that. It's a huge shift, and it's likely to have very big implications on timelines, on admissions timelines. And anybody heard about the new coalition application? It was announced earlier this fall. 80 plus of the top public and private universities, strict criteria to get in terms of admission, graduation rates, how much financial aid they give. They are supposed to be debuting a new application in the spring. I just talked to Coalition School today, and they're like, we might wait a year till we use it. And then there are other schools that saying we're going to be coalition exclusive. This is a huge change. So 3 big changes: SAT, new timeline and procedure for the FAFSA, and then the coalition. All right, takeaways: high school matters. Grow, do your best to enjoy it. Great change in college admissions. Demonstrated interest might matter. And authenticity is important. And finally, immerse yourself in high school. You will discover who you are. And that is a great thing for the rest of your life, and will also make you a stronger applicant. Okay, thank you guys. Enjoy.